Welcome back. Welcome back. It's Three the Hallway. I am here, Tariq Rashad. To my left is...
You already know, man. Let's go Knicks. John, boy. You see the background. You see Julius in the background. I know what time it is.
Listen, man. You just call me Bachelor of Arts and Science Hunter. All right, man.
You shortened it.
Keep it nice and short today.
Copy. And we got a special guest with us here today, DJ Authorize. If you would like to introduce yourself.
Man, what up, y'all? It's your boy DJ Authorize, always from Brooklyn, New York, Brownsville. You know what it is. I appreciate y'all, man. Three the hallway. I authorize that.
Hey, let's go.
You gotta clip that.
Authorized. And DJ Authorize is gonna be with us for our Three the Hallway basketball segment, as well as an interview a little bit later. We're gonna jump right into it, man. We're talking basketball. The NBA playoffs is underway. 3 teams have played. By the time this airs, we'll be in game 3s and 4s, and a lot has happened. So we want to get into it. We're going to talk about starting off with a top 4 seed, so a home seed that is officially in the most trouble. Who's in the most trouble to not make it out of this first round? That's basically where we are with this. So I'm gonna open it up to you guys. Whoever wants to start that up, let's get into it.
They're not gonna make it out?
Yeah.
Who's in trouble?
The Knicks.
Damn.
Oh, up the rip. Why the
Listen,
Knicks?
Because it's a big hype it's been a big hype. It's always been like that with the Knicks since 2013 to now. From when Melo played, we're gonna be the best. We're gonna do this. Good season. Y'all relying on Randall. Come on, bro. He was a backup from the Lakers. Like, come on, let's be serious, man. He wasn't even an all-star.
Why you bringing up old?
My guy's most improved. My man dropped 24 a game, 10 rebounds, 5 assists. Out here bringing the Knicks from nothing, bro. We wasn't even supposed to be in the playoffs. We wasn't even supposed to be there.
You know, the dude from Wildin' Out, a little shaky because the East is shaky, bro. It's shaky.
Looking shaky, baby.
Shaky there. You know, we wrestle man. You know what I mean? Like I said, it's a little shaky there, bro. Come on, man. You know it's shaky.
When you say the East is shaky, shaky, are you saying that there aren't any competitive teams below the Knicks, or there's just not that much competition in general?
It's not that much competition. A lot of people left from the East. You know, the East is not as strong as the West. I understand if the Knicks was in the West and made it to the playoffs, I respect them hands down.
If the Knicks were in the playoffs, they'd have been in a play-in situation, right, Rob? I think Rob was
in the West.
The Knicks would have been a 7th or 8th seed in the West. And that's taken into account. That's not taken into account that when you're in the Eastern Conference, you play more Eastern Conference teams, as opposed to when you're in the West, you play more Western Conference teams.
So you're saying that the Knicks would have been on top of Golden State? Hell no. There would have been no 8 or 19.
I'm in agreement with you, DJ.
Okay.
I'm the Lakers fan.
Sure. Okay. All right, I'll make sure. I see you. My bad.
Listen, man, if it was a 5th, we all be drunk. And ain't no drinking on this shit.
Because I'm from New York City, goddammit.
So I'm gonna keep this. I'm gonna keep this a stat, and I'm gonna change gears because we not.
Hold on, don't change gears yet, because I'm not a Knicks fan. But just to be fair, the Knicks were 16-14 in the West against the Western Conference this year. So it's above. It's above
2 games above 500.
It's above 500. There's some Western Conference teams that's in the playoffs that wasn't that good against the Western Conference, and they feasted on the East as well. So, but the Knicks are in most trouble. John, what are you thinking?
I don't think the Knicks is in most trouble. I think that the Knicks is right where they need to be. I would prefer them to win the first game. We lost by a buzzer beater, bro. We lost by a buzzer beater the ice traded game. He came up with a screen and roll, and he hit it right in our face.
Here is Young. Finds his spot. Young on the floater, puts it in. Trae Young with a miraculous shot.
I have to appreciate the greatness of Trae Young. However,
It's quiet in here.
I think I don't even worry about that because game two is on the way, and we're going to see what happens then. Julius Randle had the worst day in his playoff career, which is his first game. He had the worst game. I think he's going to bounce back. But with that being said, the team that I have that's in trouble right now is the Los Angeles Clippers, and I hate to say it.
That's true. Oh, I forgot about that one.
These dudes. Luka is scorching them. He gave him a taste of it last year. He was hobbled. He was hitting buzzer beaters. And this year, the Mavericks have a full squad, and they're just giving it to them. My thing about the Clippers is that when they first assembled this team, we're talking about Kawhi Leonard or Paul George. We're talking about two of the best defenders in the game. Then you have Serge Ibaka. You got Pat Bev. You got Rondo. All these guys are defensive players. Why can't they stop nobody? What is that? I don't understand it. So my thing is this. Last year, we blamed Doc Rivers. Doc Rivers in the Celtics right now. His team is a defensive team. I don't think it's the coaches. I think it's the players. And they're not buying in. There's no alpha with this. So what team is in the most trouble? The Clippers are in the most trouble because they're not only in the trouble from losing the playoffs, they're in trouble from losing their franchise player and Kawhi Leonard. If they lose in the first round, I don't see Kawhi staying with the Clippers.
Not gonna be able to do it.
Somebody did their homework. God damn.
I didn't. I'm gonna say this about the Clippers, and the one thing that bothers me most is not the fact that Luka is scorching them. It's and DJ Authorize, you mentioned this off camera a little earlier. It's how soft the league is right now to me, and Luka is the definition of why or what can happen when the league goes soft. Like you said, this is supposed to be a defensive team. I heard yesterday that this is probably the best wing defender combination of Paul George and Kawhi Leonard since Mike and Jordan. I mean, since Mike and Pippen. And what bothers me most is neither one of them have fouled out yet. Kawhi Leonard has 2 fouls a game, and Paul George has 4 fouls a game. If those are your guys, if those are the guys that are supposed to lock up the star, it's not like Luke. I understand Luke is playing the 1, but it's not like he's 6 feet. It's not like you're losing any height advantage when letting one of your premier wing defenders guard him. Every time he sees Patrick Beverly, it's barbecue chicken.
Damn.
Every time he sees any other defender, and that's not to say that Paul George is locking him up. He's giving Paul George, but he's a scorer. He's a star, and it's expected of Luka to be that good. I'm not understanding why it's so comfortable for him. I'm not understanding how 2 games in at home that this guy is able to embarrass you to the point where you're still on the floor with him while he's doing this. It shouldn't happen. It wouldn't have happened in 90s basketball. But for me, I don't think it's the Clippers or the Knicks that are in the most trouble right now. I actually think it's the Phoenix Suns.
Whoa. What the hell going on?
Looking at Chris Paul's injury, it's extremely important to understand what he brings to a team. Not to take anything away from Devin Booker, great scorer, and he'll continue to score against this Lakers team. But Chris Paul makes everybody on the roster better. Cameron Payne had a great game, but it didn't equal winning. Chris Paul puts up those same numbers, 17 and 8, and it means a lot more. Down the stretch, it was a tight game. They had no Chris Paul, and that's where the issue is going to be. The Lakers have 2 closers. LeBron James is
I ain't gonna lie, he shocked me yesterday.
We've seen it plenty of times, though. In those first 3 rounds, LeBron James is a very, very, very clutch player in those first 3 rounds of the playoffs. He's done it multiple times, and there's no true premier defender for him on the Phoenix Suns. So if it turns into a close game down the last 4 minutes without Chris Paul or without a healthy Chris Paul, I got my money on LeBron and AD finishing more than Devin Booker in the squad, and that troubles me going back to LA with the hurt Chris Paul. So I think that they may be in the most trouble.
Listen, man. Knicks is in trouble. New York City.
Back to him.
You didn't see that coming?
New York.
De Blasio don't know who he want to cheer for. He want to cheer for the Nets and wear the gear, and then he get blasted. And then he want to make a public statement announcement, talk about the Hawks need to fly back home. I tell you who will be sad when they go back home. It's going to be the New York Knicks. I had a good run. I'm tired of this. John.
Hey, look! Silence! I can't take this no more.
I had a good run. I had a terrible first game back. The Garden crowd was going bananas, and I didn't deliver. Tracy Morgan was going bananas, and they didn't deliver. They was cheering. They was jeering Trae Young, and he made them all hush. I'm looking forward to see the Knicks go home. They are in the most trouble.
You've been looking for them to go home since the beginning of the season.
Stay hating.
I'm ready for them to go home.
Make the playoffs. Listen, we way better off than what you thought. And I'm glad that you waited for them to go home because we're going to continue to be in the playoffs until we out of here.
The question was, which home team is in the most trouble? And the home team that's in the most trouble is the New York Knicks. but aside from my personal biases, the Hawks just have too much firepower for them, man. You got Bogdanovich that can give you 28. You got Trae Young that can give you 32, 10, and 7 in a playoff debut. You got Clint Capella who can give you 20 and 20. You got John Collins. You got Gallinari. You got Lou Will. They got weapons everywhere, man. All I see is Julius Randle.
Defense wins championships, man. I'm stick to that, and the Knicks is one of the best defending teams in the league. It's going to come down to who is better, the Knicks defense or the Hawks offense. Right now, it's looking like the Hawks offense. I'm not sure it's going to last too long. They can't shoot the way they were shooting. And we only lost by 2 with our best player losing. I don't think that we're in the most trouble. Or with our best player having the worst game. So
let's flip it. Let's flip it to the other side. Who's been the most impressive team to start these playoffs? Who's been the most impressive team to start these playoffs?
I say Memphis. Ja Morant proved from Golden State. Like, look, I got to step up now. 21, he's young, and he made the big shots.
Yeah,
he made big shots. I mean, back to back to back. No mistakes. No wish of God or nothing. He stepped up, and he went to Utah and did the same thing. So right now, my surprise and team is Memphis.
Yeah, that Memphis team, man. I think Memphis is a really dangerous team. I'm a Ja Morant fan. I am known to go on record to say that I think De'Aaron Fox at the current point in his career is better than him.
That's a bold statement.
But listen, man, the playoffs is where your name is made, and right now, Ja has put his team on his back against the wall, and every game has been must win for him, man. So you definitely got to give the boys some props. Yeah, I had Memphis there too. I think that was a big game 1 win, especially against number 1 seed, and the story that they had to overcome from going from the play-in, emphasis on play-in, to actually being in the playoffs. So I got Memphis as well.
Well, I mean, I told you guys last week when it was play-in time that if Memphis made it out that first game against San Antonio, whoever played them was going to be in trouble. I thought it might have been Portland. I thought it could have been the Lakers. I thought it could have been Steph. And I definitely went on record to say that Ja Morant reminds me, and I'm not saying his playing style, but his energy, his attitude, it reminds me a lot of Dame Lillard when he was younger, when he wanted that opportunity to beat the best person in his position. And like we said, with Steph dropped 39 in that game. It wasn't one of those Julius Randle situations versus Trae Young where Trae Young had a great game and Julius Randle had a bad game and it was close. No, those two guys were premier. They were the show. It was Steph versus Ja Morant, and Ja Morant closed down the stretch. Year 2. Big shout out to him. I'm gonna go to the other side though. Go to the Eastern Conference. And to me, Milwaukee has been the most impressive team. And when I started writing this, I was looking for most impressive player. And he would also, to me, be on Milwaukee. And it's not because he's scoring 50, 40 points or anything like that, but it's Chris Middleton to me. And last year I got on this show, and the year before, I stood firm in saying that Chris Middleton can't be the number 2 guy to lead you to the promised land until he shows it. And last year against the Miami Heat, when Giannis Antetokounmpo went down, and it was only Chris Middleton, I saw him grow. I saw him want that big shot. And to me, it carried over into this year's Miami Heat series where he hit the big shot in game 1. He scored 17 points in 24 minutes, but he only took 7 shots, 5 shots. You know why? Because he was living on the free throw line. APB out for Paul George, who's only taken 8 free throws in the 2 games against Dallas Mavericks.
But when the world needed him most, he vanished.
I'm really upset with Paul George, if y'all haven't realized. Again, but I digress. Chris Middleton is really balling in the blowout in game 2. He was extremely efficient. Game 1, he ended the game. It's against, in his position, it should be the best person guarding him in Jimmy Butler or Bam Adebayo guarding Giannis Antetokounmpo. So he's performing to me. I'm really feeling what he's doing right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to back it up with Todd. Milwaukee Bucks that's the team right now that's the most impressive to me, especially because last year they lost 4-1. And Giannis was struggling last year. The whole team was struggling last year. I think that the GMs and the executive office did a great job of picking up some pieces. Brent Forbes, they replaced Kyle Korver, who's at the end of his career.
Hey.
You got Bobby Portis that's spacing the floor. Drew Holiday.
I gotta apologize to y'all for that. The Drew Holiday.
Drew Holiday, I'm telling you,
that boy's special.
He's one of the most underrated guards in the league, and he is the reason why Giannis can kind of take a breath, because not only is he a lock-up defender, but when it comes down to stretch and making plays and him scoring buckets, he is that guy. That was missing last year with Eric Bledsoe. You see him in the corner, they leaving him wide open. You can't do the same thing with Jrue Holiday. He's going to carve you up every single time.
Put some respect on my name.
And that's what's happening. And Giannis now can literally sit back, pick his points throughout the game. He doesn't have to be the closer because Chris Middleton has assumed that role as well. They also put that together with Chris Middleton ended or put game 2 into overtime when he hit that game 1 into overtime when he hit that jumper at the end of the going into the end of the fourth quarter. So with that being said, bro, if you go around and you look from 4-1 last year to being up 2-0 this year against a team that went to the finals and humiliated you, most impressive team for me.
Absolutely. Let's move on to individual talents. New guys. You got the new guys in the league. Who do you guys think had the best playoff debut? And there's a lot of folk that we could talk about here.
I'm gonna let Castro go. I'm gonna let DJ Authorize go.
Y'all gonna put the pressure on me? New guy.
Oh, you mother. Okay.
Yes, man. The guest gotta
Nah. It's cool. It's cool. No pressure. New guy. What's his name from yesterday? Payne. I like him.
Cameron Payne.
Yeah, he's been. I ain't never heard of him until the last 2 games, and he's impressed me. And I mean, he's not scared to guard. You know, the toughest guy. He apply pressure 94 feet. And he's tenacious. He's hungry. You know what I'm saying too. So he's like one of my guys that I like. I like guys that's underrated. Like I don't like to name names that's out there. I like guys like that because it reminds me of myself. If I was in their position, you know what I'm saying. So definitely Payne was one of my guys.
He's a lefty like you as well. Can shoot the tray.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Definitely.
Shout out to Russell Westbrook. That was his old dancing partner back in OKC.
Facts.
Boy.
I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep it on the West Coast and on the same team. I'm gonna go my man D Book. Look, in the beginning of this year, I said a bold statement, and I said D Book is going to be one of the best. He is one of the top 5 scorers in the league. And the first,
that's not what you said.
What? That's the top 5 scorers.
Top 5 talent.
Of all time. I said it all the time. I said it, and guess what? He played against arguably one of the top 5 players of all time and scorched him game 1. Gave him buckets. I mean, barbecue chicken, however you want it.
Tastes so good, make you want to slap your mama.
Let's go. That's a W.
AD, come hit this floater. Guess what? I got Devin Booker, man. Devin Booker is a scorer. That's my guy. Most of impressive debut. 34 points, 8 assists, 7 rebounds, shooting 50%.
Oh man, I'm still on the fence, but I guess I gotta pick one now. And I'm probably going to be in agreement with you, Rob. I'm gonna go Ice Trae, man. The environment that New York is, and for him to have never been to the playoffs before, it's not like he's fresh in the league, kind of like John Moran, who was a few games away last year in his rookie year and then made it this year, or made the play in and pushed his way in this year. He's been a bottom dweller since he's gotten in the league. He's been scoring, cool. He's been assisting, cool. He's been putting up stats, but he's been a bottom dweller since he's gotten in the league. So for him to get in this opportunity in game 1 to show on the biggest stage, the Mecca, that he's about it. And I gotta tell you, man, and I don't want to take too much from what you may say, Rob, but the energy, the passion, the aggressiveness, the arrogance, it's quiet in here. I love it. That's the basketball that we love. It reminds me of New York Knicks versus Miami Heat back in the 90s. Trying to get to those playoff series and stuff like the Indiana Pacers versus this is a guy that wants that action. He's about to smoke, and he's not going to lay down. Don't always like the way he goes about getting his points, but I don't like it when James Harden does it either, and he's won 2 MVPs. So he's won an MVP. So there's that.
Yeah, man. It says something when you could go in the Garden for your very first primetime playoff game. 8-game winners. And it's literally silence. the Garden crowd. It was jeering him all game. Some obscenities I will not repeat because we have younger viewers.
He said it. F you, Trey.
Let me say it all game. And like, you know, that is the New York.
De Blasio hopped in with the Knicks hat.
To Trae Young, on behalf of the people of New York City and anyone who cares about actually playing basketball the right way, stop hunting for fouls, Trae.
You know what time it is, man?
Trae, stop hunting for fouls.
That hope's not gonna fly over here.
Gotta love New York fans.
When you go to the playground in New York City and you cooking people you ain't from that hood, you go and hear this type of stuff. You know what I mean? And that separates the real from the fake. In New York City, I know when I went to my very first Knicks games, the Knicks was garbage as usual.
Why you bringing up old?
But they was cheering for Kyle Kuzma because the Knicks are so bad that they just want to see anybody play good. Now the Knicks is good, and now they cheering against Trae Young because the Knicks are quote unquote good. So for him to take that energy and channel it to a W in the Garden, where you can literally hear the electricity in the crowd. Every single bucket seemed like it was a game winner, or it was worth a game winner. For him to do what he did, it was just amazing. And it was his very first time. And so that's my most impressive player.
Hey, yo, Rob, I don't know if everybody told you. If we was on Zoom, I really think you was Chris Rock. You know that, right? Just like that motherfucker.
Just a little too old to be in the club.
So just like this, yo, we was on Zoom. I'm like, yo, you sure that's Rob? Well, that's Chris Rock. So just like that. Yeah, you gotta get that hair moving. Get that hair, my bro. Y'all gonna have something special, baby.
All right, Chad. That's going to end it for our basketball segment. We'll be back with more Through the Hallway.